All listeners, today I have the pleasure of speaking with Will Dahlstrom, who is a proven operational leader, graduate of the United States Military Academy, and combat veteran with nearly 2 decades of experience helping businesses scale and optimize for growth. He has partnered with organizations across industries to drive operational efficiency, align leadership teams, and create sustainable systems for long-term success. Now, the deep expertise in EOS, or Entrepreneurial Operating Systems, and a track record as a focused integrator, Will excels in building clarity, prioritizing execution, and driving measurable results for leadership teams. His leadership journey includes serving as a chief operating officer for companies, navigating rapid expansion, strategic transitions, and operational challenges. As an operating partner today, Will leverages his military discipline, operational expertise, and EOS knowledge to deliver value creation, operational excellence, and leadership development. Will is full of some leadership theories, philosophies, actions, strategies, all the above. And this episode truly encompasses the executive mindset. And so I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I did. What does it truly mean to be a leader? Welcome to The Executive, a podcast that highlights the career journeys, struggles, successes, and day-to-day experiences of leaders. I'm your host, Dr. Benjamin Ritter, bringing over 10 years of experience as a leadership and career coach, L&D consultant, and healthcare executive. My mission is to guide leaders towards creating a career they can love. Thank you for listening. Now let's hear from the executive. Are you still talking about unexpected gratitude?
Or belief, right, of how I think that you should do business. And I was just talking to some folks yesterday, and they were talking about bonus programs, and um, they're like, well, we just had a big windfall, and I want to give money to everybody for a big windfall. And we're talking about how do you structure bonus programs, and how do you help them maintain and succeed, and I was just like, well, hey guys, like, just remember, anytime you give people money, it becomes an expectation. So every big windfall that the company has moving forward, everybody's going to expect that you give them a big bonus. And you may not be able to do that. So, like, there's a lot of other ways to show gratitude and show how much you appreciate your team and your staff than cutting a big check, right? Because big checks will always get attributed, and pattern will be recognized, and then it'll be expected, right? And it loses the gratitude, the thanks behind it, and it just becomes, this is part of my compensation and you owe it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a fun conversation with these senior leaders and saying, hey, like, money's great, build a profit sharing program, let's talk about that, let's talk about how to do that that's consistent. But like, when these big windfalls occur, like, lean into gratitude. What your team likes. One of the guys is obsessed with sneakers, right? One of their folks on their team, he's a big sneakerhead. Like, every time I've gone in there, he's got brand new sneakers, and he's got, I guarantee his closet is, all sneakers and maybe one row of clothes, right? And so I was like, why don't you buy him some fancy pair of sneakers he's been talking about, and just have him on the desk with a note that says, hey, thank you for all your hard work. I mean, there's no way we would have pulled this off without you. Like, that's going to mean more to him than an X amount check, right? Like, you're already paying him fairly. He's already got bonuses. He's already got stuff. Like, that's unexpected. And that's true
Mm-hmm.
gratitude. And it's going to carry weight. And it was cool to see their light bulbs go off from both sides, like, one from the business side of it, of like, yeah, like, let's structure bonus programs to be structured and consistent and not random and eclectic. And let's layer into gratitude. Like, real gratitude isn't about a big check. It's about showing the person that you know them, you care about them, you understand them, and then layering that unexpected nature on top of it. And it was just cool to see those light bulbs go off, and they're like, I love that. Like, we're gonna do it, right? So yeah, so definitely still talking about it. Definitely part of my everyday lingo.
Yeah, some people would say by speaking up in that meeting, you were fearless. So there's like different levels of how much do we want to shout something from a mountaintop, but we're making a difference either way. Where did the concept of unexpected gratitude like start from? What were the seeds that were planted way back when?
Man, good question. Where did it start from? I think I think the initial seeds came from, my time in the army when there's no way to financially compensate necessarily somebody for their hard work, right? You have all these great people on your team. You have incredible leaders that are working tirelessly, to serve the mission, and you can't build a bonus program, right? You can't build a compensation program, right? Compensation is fixed. It is what it is. Like, there's no overtime. There is no, like, you get a base pay, you get a BAH, and and you serve the mission, right? The greater good. And so, how do you motivate people and show them your gratitude when you have no financial lever, right? So, like, my whole first foray into leadership, I didn't have the financial lever that in business we become so accustomed to, or it just becomes so second nature of like, well, I'll just pull on this easy financial lever to show somebody that I care about them, right? Give them some more money. And so in the military, you can't do that. You got to find other ways to show your team how grateful you are for the hard work they're doing. So I think that's probably where it started, was trying to find a way. And I didn't have a lot of money, right, either, right? So how do I listen and understand, um, with teams to show that, hey, I see you, I recognize you. It could be anything from, a can of dip, favorite dip. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate you. I saw you're low on your dip. Here you go. Right.
Mm.
To, taking somebody out to, to a dinner, a small dinner, right? Or, we, we, white gold is what we used to call the white monster energy drinks, right? Back in the day. And, everybody loved that stuff. So bring a six pack of white gold to, to the range and say, hey, thanks so much. Like, just those little unexpected pieces that don't cost a ton of money, because I didn't have a ton of money. But we're able to show gratitude, right? I think that's probably where it started, is how do I show people I give a crap? How do I show people that I see them? How do I show people that I'm grateful for what they're doing? When I don't have a lot of money, I don't have a lot of levers, how can I lean into that? So I think that's where the idea of like just being grateful and gratitude and finding little ways to show thanks started. And then when I got into business, like, I started to realize how impactful those unexpected moments of gratitude could truly be, whether it was a letter, like a little handwritten note, or, really layering into understanding people and listening and trying to find those moments to just do little unexpected things to earn that trust that goes so far in business and personal relationships.
Yeah, it seems so uh like commonsensical. Like, yeah, when I'm in the store and I see something cute that reminds me of my partner, I'm gonna probably get it for them and surprise them with it. Or maybe a good friend was talking about, like, this just happened, talking about having a hard time staying on track. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get them one of these little timers that like glows and you can flip over. But
Right.
it doesn't, I actually don't do it that often. I was like thinking about it. I was like, I don't really do it that often. Why? So what is it that makes like, where's the gap between yeah, this is a great idea. It makes sense. You should show people that you care about them, that you're listening to them, that you know them, that you want to make sure they feel appreciated, to then like the fact that just doing it. Like, it's not common.
Right. And I got to remind myself, like, just the other day, one of my, one of our team members, right, she was going on a trip, and a road trip, right, with a family. And she was talking about her favorite snack and, stuff. And it was a pretty big road trip. There's a lot of stuff behind it. And just like Cool Ranch Doritos, right? So I was at the store doing some stuff, and I just got a whole bunch of Cool Ranch Doritos. So she had, road trip snacks for, the time, right? But unexpected, small, right? It's like what, like $8 altogether, right? But like, it's just being intentional, and remembering, like, hey, find those little opportunities, provide unexpected gratitude, um, go a far way, right? Doesn't have to be big lump sums of money. Just like that
Hmm.
little timer, right? It's what, $20, or something, if that. Um, but it probably had a great positive impact on your friend and your relationship.
Yeah. So this is probably integrated into who you are as a leader now, and just makes a lot of sense from an engagement perspective, morale. Like, there's a lot of benefits. They don't have to go into them. Like, it's just yeah, people do. They're gonna stay. They're gonna be loyal. They're gonna work harder. Like, it's gonna be a better working relationship. How does someone build this into a habit or into a leadership value if they don't do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first step is just recognizing that it could be beneficial, right? Like just internalizing that there is an opportunity and you do see the fact that it could be beneficial. One of the things that I always try to do is reflect on times when people have done stuff for me that has been unexpected and shown gratitude and how it made me feel and the impact that it had personally on me. I try to think about that regularly, but I think that's a good starting point, right? First, like just understand, like think through when somebody's done something for you that's been unexpected, and how like incredible it makes you feel and warm, right? Like wow, like you thought about me, like it's like it hits you right in your heart, right? And so I think if you can first like feel that and understand it, then being able to find moments where you could potentially have that same impact on somebody else, I think becomes easier. So start there. Like start with just a little bit of self-reflection, sit outside and think through like, hey, when did somebody do something and what was it? And try to find those little moments that positively impacted you. I think it'll make it easier for you to find those little moments, have a positive impact on others.
Yeah, with any sort of change, awareness first tends to create the pause between like ignoring it when the opportunity comes up. Like, you're just gonna know, you're gonna see it. Because it's also just like, how do you know what would make someone feel gratitude? Like, am I sitting there and asking, making them fill out a 100 question survey about their favorite road
Yeah.
trip snack? And then how do I remember when I do find something out? Like, what is your approach?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's finding ways to action it, right? Like, it, there's never, I don't plan. I will be honest, there's never a plan. I never have a plan. I think that's number one. It, there's no plan to it. It's just looking for the opportunities. Like I think back to when I can think there are those moments where I've done things that I know like, wow, that had a huge impact on that relationship. I remember one of them, uh, and a lot of times you don't know, right? Like you just had to listen to that little voice in your head or your heart or whatever that says, hey, that's a good thing. Why don't you do that for them? And then go do it. Like I remember one time, one of my uh, he was one of our VPs with a previous company, and he was an awesome guy. And he was going on a trip to New York, and we were just talking about New York, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm flying out. Going to spend the first couple of days there, with my wife, and we're just going to walk around town. I've never been there, don't really know what to do, or where to eat." And we were just talking, and someone just told me like, "Hey, like." Send them $100 gift card to your favorite restaurant in New York, because I lived there, spent 5.5 years there. I got a favorite restaurant, I like to go there. And just send them a little e-card, right? Like nothing big. So got back that night and was powering it down. I just went online and sent him a little e-card, said, hey, try this restaurant out. It's my favorite restaurant in New York. Here it is. And go to town, right? He messaged me the next day, called me and said, "Oh, like, hey, thank you so much. Like, I haven't told anybody what's going on, but my wife's having brain cancer surgery." Like, and you know, he was like, "This is so incredible. Like, I'm gonna be able to take her to this restaurant and blah blah." Like, those little moments can have such a larger impact, right, than you can ever fathom. And so, I would say, just like you don't have to be super. I am not super empathetic or emotionally driven or anything, but like if you just are having those little conversations, naturally you'll pick up on little things like, oh, that's a good idea. Just don't ignore it. Like just write it down in your notebook or put it on your notes app in your phone. And when you have 15 minutes because you're sitting in the back of an Uber or you're, sitting there watching TV, like just pull the trigger on it, right? Then the gift card with a little note to something special, or when you're in the store, pick up that's something special. Like just don't ignore the little voice that says, "Hey, here's an opportunity to show
Mm.
your gratitude for what they're doing for you." Because most of the time, like it's going to have an impact that you couldn't even imagine, and that's pretty cool.
What I'm hearing personally is you don't plan for unexpected gratitude. I think that's a kind of a that's an interesting sentence. You don't plan for unexpected gratitude. You are present in conversations. You're talking to someone about more than just work.
Mm,
And when
mhm.
something comes up, act on it. Like it's, oh, I have to leave early to go, to train for this marathon. Oh, he's training for a marathon. Like, let me get him this cooling towel that I really liked. And
Right.
it's little things don't cost a lot, but it's not something that you have to do. It's not like something that you plan in advance. It's something that you act on when the opportunity arises.
Totally. Right. I always one of the best things that I always say, or that I've heard, Benjamin, is like um the idea between unexpected and planned, right? Or unexpected and expected. I read this study that Harvard did a while back, and listen, I'm not gonna quote it or go into it, right? I'm just gonna paraphrase it. But what they found is they did a bunch of study on the impacts that expected moments can have on emotion versus unexpected moments can have on emotion. And they found that unexpected moments have like a 400% impact on the emotion of somebody than an expected moment. It's like, what does that mean? Like, you can equate it to, you know, bringing your wife flowers, right? Like, if it's an anniversary or the anniversary of your first date, or your real anniversary, whatever, of getting married, and she expects flowers. She expects you're going to bring her flowers. She expects flowers are going to be there. It doesn't make it any less meaningful. Like, it's totally meaningful that you brought her flowers. But if you stop at Costco on the way home on a Wednesday night and you're going to get, whatever you need to get at Costco, Coke Zero or laundry detergent, you see that $15 bouquet of flowers sitting there, and you grab that and you put it on the checkout and you bring it home. You say, "Hey, I was just thinking about you." Give her flowers. That unexpected moment has a 4 times impact than bringing her the flowers on the anniversary. And so gratitude is important at all times. But if you can layer that unexpected nature on top of it, and that just kind of goes to everything, like the impact that it has is so much greater.
Hmm.
You still got to bring your wife flowers on her anniversary. You're never going to get away with that. Like, that's table stakes. But if you can layer those unexpected moments on top of it, it just creates some awesome impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a teacher once in college who I don't agree with him, but he was like, I never get my wife flowers. I've never gotten her a birthday card. We've been married for over 40 years. Guess what I did? So he's like, guess what I did this year? I got her a birthday card. Guess how happy she was. I was like,
Huge. Yeah.
that's a little far off. But yes, I actually don't get flowers for anything that's like you're supposed to get flowers for.
Yeah.
Like because it's like it's this expectation, like you were sharing about the bonuses. If you give someone, especially a huge chunk of money, they're going to start thinking that's part of their salary.
Right.
And unless it can be sporadic enough that they don't connect it potentially to some sort of product that they did. I don't know if that makes sense, but like yeah, it has to
Yeah.
be
Totally.
broken up enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually want to talk a little bit about your career path because it's like super impressive and unique, and I think people won't only learn from kind of this philosophy of unexpected gratitude, which I think is an incredible executive trait, but also just how you got to where you are today. So, you kind of started off saying that you were in the military. You had your first leadership experience there, and then can you walk us through a little bit of your journey and how you got to be the executive leader that you are today?
Sure. Yeah. So, um, started out in the Army, uh, spent, about 10 years in the Army, leading some, getting the honor to lead some great teams. And I lucked into an internal consultancy role with a large manufacturing group out of Ohio. And I was able to learn from some really great players in that industry how to be a consultant, right, and how to help people succeed. And I lucked into one of the consulting engagements that I was on was a acquisition, and the president of that company that we acquired 2 weeks after we acquired it said, "Hey, I'm good. I'm out. I don't want to stay here." They had nobody to run it. And so I, little 29-year-old me, was really the only guy who had any idea about the operations of that cryogenics company in Boston. They said, "Hey, would you like to go run it?" I was like, "Absolutely. Like, sign me up. I'm there." So there I am, 29 years old. I think the youngest at the time, leader of a facility and business, flying to Boston every week to run this cryogenic trailer business, which was an awesome experience. So cut my teeth, learned that, um, built an incredible team. We were able to do some fantastic things, getting it month over month from in the red to in the black in like 3 months, right? And we saved a lot of revenue and got to fly to Canada and meet with some big wigs of some big companies. So got to cut my teeth on like B2B negotiations and salvaging business, and realize the importance of how operations and sales work together. Like, it isn't two separate silos. Like, you got to work together. Operational leaders are just as important a part of sales as a sales group is an important part of operations. And so for whatever reason, it worked, and we started to do well. And so the company gave me another facility to run out of Ohio, which was beverage doers, and then got to run another facility in Alabama doing animal husbandry. And so it was just super fun. Um, but I was gone 6 days a week, and
Mm.
we had just had our first kiddo, and my wife was like, "Dude, you gotta get back to Texas." And it was a good natural breaking point because that facility that we were running in Alabama was a large acquisition, and the main goal was to bring all these cryogenic businesses under one roof, right, from all over the country, put them under one roof and make them successful. And so we had done that. We got everything down, and it was just a really good breaking point. And so I started to look for a job down here in Austin, Texas, and I found an awesome local business with a great founder who was insourcing their manufacturing operation. They had outstripped every outsourced group that could produce their product, which was a monthly printed newspaper that was mailed directly to mailboxes. And they were doing about like 3 million a month, which was just crazy amounts of volume. So I say we're going to stand up our own manufacturing business, and so I went in and got the opportunity to run that. We turned that from zero to full bore in a couple of months, and a great team and incredible people. And then in 2017, we found EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System.
Mm.
And like any founder-led business, we had tried a million other operational tools, but EOS was pretty special and it worked. And for whatever reason, the leadership team nominated me to be the integrator. And that was kind of the single changing catalyst in my career, right? From just being a production leader or manufacturing leader, operations, you know, uh, go-to guy, to actually helping leadership teams run and execute. Uh, and became the COO for that media company, and um, got to take a leadership team and work with everybody together through COVID, which was an incredibly stressful environment for everybody involved, but especially the media industry. So got to quickly transition new product development and stand up new products to salvage revenue and keep the company open. And the most incredible thing that I always love to say is the manufacturing group didn't take a loss right out of that team, right? And we were able to come out of that stronger than ever. So got to lead them and do that. And so moved in the CEO role as a media company, which is super interesting. And then around 21 or so, I got poached to come over and have the opportunity to lead a personal injury law firm. So again, another industry split, right? Like going from manufacturing to print to media now to law. And one thing that I always have found as a leader is I think it's so imperative to find a bunch of different industries, because the more industries that you can get into and understand, the more similarities you can find that you can apply to other industries to help make things better for your team. So led a personal injury law firm for a number of years, and then went over and led a construction company in Florida. Again, all on EOS, right, as the integrator and COO, and got to go and lead a construction company in Florida, which was super interesting, and led them through a buyout and a private equity backed purchase. Um, and then led them through the integration, and I guess then about 3 months ago, I joined up with a small firm here in Austin, helping founders and leaders uh, grow their businesses to next scale.
Based on those twists and turns and the niche that you ended up in, like what have you learned about yourself as a professional and the work that you think kind of really gets you excited?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I think it's helping businesses get traction is what I really love to do, and not to simplify that, but um, I think one of the hardest things for businesses to really get behind is understand the importance of cadence, um, because business is crazy and it's always changing. And what I've found I really love to do is help leaders and help teams find cadence in what they do, both operationally and holistically across their business. Um, and I think that's what naturally took me to kind of the role that I'm in now, right? Is helping businesses find that cadence. And because every business cadence is different, and every business cadence is going to help them succeed is going to be unique. Uh, and I think that's kind of where I can draw upon all the different industries that I've been lucky enough to be a part of and all the teams I've been lucky enough to be on, is to see, okay, I've seen something similar to this before. Probably good if we have this cadence, and let's try implementing this and seeing that growth that can come from setting that cadence, setting those goals, and then achieving them.
Well, I really do appreciate you sharing kind of a quick snapshot of your journey, and hopefully people can kind of learn that all the twists and turns are possible, uh, and they have meaning behind them, and they teach you about yourself and how you want to lead. Because I'm taking away this unexpected gratitude tip, and I hope I can make it a superpower. Any final words for our listeners, or any way they can follow your journey?
Yeah, no, if there's anything I can ever do to help out, look me up on LinkedIn. I'm happy to jump on a call and talk. And I may not be able to solve any of your problems, but I can be a good backboard to listen to. At the end of the day, I think just remember that uh, you're nothing without your team, and take a moment to ensure that you're showing the gratitude that they deserve as often as possible.
Well, thank you, Will. Appreciate you and what you do for the world.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you, Benjamin. Have a good one, brother.
Thank you for listening to the Executive Podcast, where we explore what it truly means to be a leader. If you've taken one thing away, make sure to subscribe, share, and most importantly, leave a review. Thanks again, everyone, and see you next time.